Hello everyone, welcome to online data science sessions. We will start from the very beginning at the basics of data science, and then we will proceed further step by step, and then we will touch more complex topics. So let's start from the very beginning, from the definition of data science. So data science is an interdisciplinary field of scientific methods, processes, and systems to extract knowledge or insights from data. So we are talking about here about different processes and methods which are involved in the data science field to extract knowledge or information from some kind of data, right? So we need multiple processes and multiple methods which can enable us to look into the complex data so that we can extract useful information or knowledge from this complex data. So it can involve processes from different fields. That's why we are saying here that we are talking about interdisciplinary field of scientific methods. So the target is to acquire or understand the underlying structure of the data and to acquire knowledge or useful patterns from the data. It is a continuation of fields data mining and predictive analytics. So we can say that the data science is a continuation of two fields which are already existing fields. One is data mining and the other is predictive analytics, right? So in data mining, we basically mine the data in order to extract knowledge and information, and we are doing some similar kind of stuff in data science, but the difference is that we are using some more complex and deep algorithms here. And also in predictive analytics, we tend to produce analytics from the underlying data, right? So that we can perform different predictions or classification. And we are trying to do something similar in data science, but we are using much more complex and advanced algorithms to have much more knowledge and useful insights from the data. So you can say that data science is basically a merger or an overlapping domain of different fields. So you can see that we have computer science here and we have some business knowledge here, right? So we are talking about some business knowledge because in data science we also talk about the business intelligence, because the target to use data science in businesses is to enhance the performance of the business, right? So we are using some priority knowledge related to some business, or it can be related to any kind of domain, right? So it can be related to any business or any other scientific field, but we are trying to basically create a merger of computer science and the underlying business knowledge and some models related to statistics or probability, right? So as you know that the basics of machine learning are based on the basic principles of mathematics and statistics, and these basics of mathematics and statistics are basically modeled into different machine learning algorithms, right? So you can simply say that we are basically merging three different fields in which on the one side we have the computer science or IT knowledge, and we have some underlying business knowledge, and we are using some mathematical and statistical foundations on the basis of which we are forming some machine learning algorithms, and all these are combinedly being used in the field of data science. So in a bigger picture or on a very abstract level, you can say that in data science we have some data which we want to analyze in order to generate some analytics from the data, right? So we will be applying some kind of scientific knowledge on that data so that we could be able to extract data, and that data will be coming from different domains or from different businesses, and we will be using some technological advancements in order to execute those scientific knowledge on the data, right? and you can see that all these four different domains basically contribute in the field of data science. So data science is an interdisciplinary field that employs sophisticated tools and techniques to extract knowledge and actionable insights from structured or unstructured data in order to optimize business objectives, right? So we are talking here for not only the structured data but also for the unstructured data. We will talk in detail about the structured and unstructured data when we will dig deep into the data science domain. So here in this picture you can see that we are explaining all these four domains in more detail, right? So you can see in this figure we have four quadrants, and each quadrant is basically representing each domain. So in the first quadrant you can see we are representing data here, and at the core of this quadrant you can see the basic forms of data. So in order to generate analytics from the data, at the very basic level we can have some XLS documents, we can have some textual data, or maybe we can have data in CSV formats, right? Or it can be in much advanced formats, for example some XML files, some structured data, or it can also be something more unstructured. For example, we can also talk here about some images, we can also talk about here some video data or some audio data, or maybe some numerical data, right? So you can say that in data science data can be in any format or in any form. It can be structured data, it can be unstructured data, it can be some images, videos, or some audio signals, right? And the target is basically to process this data so that we can generate insights from the data. And in order to process this data we basically use different kind of technologies, right? So you can see that we have some libraries, some third-party libraries which can help us to deal with this complex data, because the nature of this data can be complex and we need some kind of advanced technologies in order to handle and process this data. Okay, so in this technology we basically target two different domains. One is the hardware domain and the other is the software domain. So we need technological advancements both in the hardware side as well as on the software side, because on the hardware side we need much more resources both in terms of computation as well as the processing, and we basically need these technological advancements in order to process our data. So we need some hardware related frameworks such as Hadoop and Spark, and we also need some cloud computing underlying infrastructure, because if we don't have this cloud computing architecture, then we will not be able to handle the scale of the data, right? Because in data science we basically we are basically discussing about the huge volumes and huge scale of data. So we basically perform processing on multiple nodes. For that we need some kind of cloud infrastructure, and the frameworks such as Hadoop and Spark, they enable us to handle the complexities of the cloud infrastructure. On the other hand, for the software side we use different libraries, like you can see here we need pandas, we need matplotlib in order to visualize and plot different graphs, and we can also use some deep learning libraries such as TensorFlow, Caffe, and Kafka. These are the most famous libraries. On the other hand, we can also use some statistical tools such as R or maybe SPSS, and we can also use tools from the business intelligence domain in order to process the data.